We haven't addressed the elephant in the room, have we? I mean, the room itself. Yes, I recently moved to a new apartment, which is this one, so you'll be seeing a mixed B-rolls of my previous apartment as well as this apartment. I'm still in Kathmandu, I'm not in Canada or anything like that. Let's start this video with a quote. Environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. Despite our unique personalities, certain behaviors tend to rise again and again under certain environmental conditions. In church, people tend to talk in whispers. On a dark street, people act wary and guarded. In this way, the most common form of change is not internal, but external. We are changed by the world around us. Every habit is context dependent. So what does this has to do with apartment? Trust me, there is some learning opportunity over here in this story. I take good care of my audience. I feel strongly attached to technology, to gears, to gadgets. I'm a software engineer after all, and also a filmmaker, photographer, and whatnot. But everything else is like, meh, to me. Take furniture, for example. The reason why there is not a couch over here is because I found out that they are insanely expensive, and my brain cannot justify the price for a couch, which essentially does nothing but remain still. And for a long time, I felt that apartments are also something similar. It's nice to have a nicer apartment, but as long as I have my tools with me and a working internet connection, I'm good. But it turns out I was wrong about my assumption. Lately, things have changed. I feel attached to my former apartment for nostalgic reasons, as well as enjoy my present apartment because it provides me with efficiency and ambience, which is something I've been enjoying a lot lately. So today I wanted to share my story of apartments, which sounds silly, but I turn every incident or event into a learning experience, and I hope there are some takeaways for you. And always, a good story always starts in the past. So let's go back a couple of years. The last few years were definitely tough and rough for a lot of us. And I did not enjoy living in my previous apartment for some reason. I started developing a sense of discomfort and uneasiness whenever I was there, but that wasn't always the case. I vividly remember the first time around when me and my cousin went there to scout the place after I got my first job as a software engineer in the Kathmandu. It was summer of 2016. The kitchen was blasted with sunlight. Me and my cousin, who were living in a single room occupancy inside the ring road, were impressed with the space. It was a 1 BHK, and we immediately decided that we would come and stay over there. The two of us were tired of living in a single room occupancy for months, and we waited until one of us got a permanent job so that we would be able to afford us a larger space. A single room occupancy is a typical setting which a lot of students and interns prefer in the Kathmandu, who are coming from outside the valley and don't have their home here, to fulfill their dreams in Kathmandu, because Kathmandu by default is the land of dreams for we Nepalese who wouldn't or couldn't go abroad. The SRO used to cost us around $40 a month, give or take. The new apartment, my former apartment, back in 2016 was priced at around $90 per month. Although it was out of Ring Road, we decided to take it because we much needed the space. A few months later, my cousin, he too got a job, and we had some fun times in that apartment. And I guess that is why I felt nostalgic when I had to pack my stuff and leave from that place. An avalanche of memories came flooding back. 2 years later, he got another job in another city, Pokhara. So he had to move out. It was only me and some temporary partners here and there. It was around this time that I had quit my software engineering job and wanted to try out documentary, filmmaking, travel, photography, my own venture sort of thing. But somehow I got associated with Nepal Wonder, the media company, the startup, which took shelter at my place for a while, but that didn't last long either. We had a fallout, and I kind of slipped back to software engineering during COVID. As it turns out, that was the only way which helped me to pay my bills. But after numerous failures in life, ranging from failing to create a name in a creative space to failing to secure a student visa for Canada. I started having a lot of mixed feelings in that space. All my high hopes were burned down and I felt like I was living with the ashes whenever I stayed there. I tried my best to avoid it in many different ways I could. After I filed my visa, I went back to stay with my parents. And you know that story. Months turned into more months. I was still paying the rent for that place. I didn't want to come back in Kathmandu and switch to another apartment only to receive the visa in a couple of months. So I did not change my apartment. I was just waiting for my visa to come, which never came. I was in a dilemma. I did not know what to do. Man, I was really hoping for that visa to come. But since it did not, I had to figure out a way because I could not keep on paying for an apartment in which I did not stay. Initially, I decided to take all my belongings back to my hometown and would stay over there. But that meant I would not be coming back to Kathmandu again anytime soon. But once I came over here, that idea didn't sit well with me because me being me, I didn't want to give up on my dreams, which is what that particular act felt like to me. But by this time, I had realized that there's no such thing as perfect timing. The stars will never align, but the universe will also not go out of its own way to conspire against your endeavors. Thank you, Tim Ferriss, for the lovely insight. I'm a little rusty on this, but I think I got this. I wanted to take a jab at life, a nice full swing. I'm not sure how you do a full swing, but it's metaphorical. And this time around, I didn't want to chase opportunities. Instead, I wanted to create one for myself. So as a humble Asian kid, I did what everyone does. I called my parents and said there has been change of plans and I want to move to a different apartment, and as every other typical Asian supporting parents, they told me that it's in fact a really, really nice recipe for failure. God, I love them. But I wouldn't listen once I made a decision. So it was decided that I would move to another place and would pursue some sort of a creative business, as well as I would keep my freelance career also active at the same time. But not so fast. I had trouble coming along my way. Not one, not two, many troubles. I've practically emptied this room already. I'll need some help to organize a bit more. I'll need some more boxes, some more bags, and I need a place. I haven't finalized any place yet to move to, so still got a lot of work to do this week. First thing was I was running out of time because I already told my landlady that I would be evacuating at the end of the month, and the end of the month was approaching. The problem was I hadn't found any apartment yet to move. Thus began my search. Okay, why am I even kidding? Engineering alone won't be able to pay for that thing. For that, you gotta expand into business and stuff. Those footages were from my ultra short career as a freelance cinematographer. I think that's what it's called. Enough to chat, back to the story. Firstly, I looked at a lot of listings online on Facebook Marketplace and Hamra Bazaar. I went over 200 to 300 ads, talked with dozens of people, brokers, and started visiting some places which felt good online. Some were good, some were okay, but none of them felt right. At the same time, I was also packing my stuff, and I was also trying to manage my full-time job at the same time. In fact, I could not manage my full-time job, so I took 2 days off, and my manager wasn't thrilled about my apartment hunt. It was getting really stressful, and I swore that the next time I do this, it better be planned. But even by the end of the month, I could not find a good place to shift. The problem was good apartments would be filled insanely fast. Once I found a really good apartment and the ad was 7 days old and it was booked. And I did come across some fancy apartments in the range of $400 to $500, but they were out of my realistic budget. I was looking for a 2 BHK apartment in the ballpark of $200 to $300 per month, preferably with a lot of ambient lighting. I was looking for a space that would be good for me to work from home and work on my YouTube videos. And I really wanted an environment that would work as a conduit between me and my creative pursuits. It was hard enough to find a place that would check the basic boxes, and at times it did feel that my dream apartment is not out there. So I asked for a 15 days of extension. Right around this time, my parents decided that it's right time for some family jazz. And when I say family jazz, it means like they wanted to do some sort of a family ritual, pray for the stars to align. So me and my sister had to go back to our hometown and attend the family jazz. She came back earlier because she had her college. I was looking for some places online, and luckily, one day, one of the brokers, the most expensive one, found a place, and I asked my sister to go and vet the place. She liked it. She gave me the green signal, and bam, here we are. That's the short version where I really skipped a lot of tiny uninteresting details, but bam, here we are. And I feel really good here. The atmosphere is pleasant, and I've been able to work a lot on my creative projects, as well as on my freelance projects, as well as on myself. I've been reading a lot. I've been taking a lot of time to improve physically and mentally as well. The landlords are kind because I've been paying my rent on time, and that's a phenomenal rhyme. But really, jokes apart, I have really enjoyed this place. I've realized the importance of having a space that essentially works as an extension to your pursuits and reduces the friction between you and your tasks that you want to do. I'm grateful for everything, for the opportunities that came along my way, for the mindset shift that has been going on with the help of many great minds. I think it's always important to remember how and where you got started, so that no matter how high you are flying later in life, you are always tethered to the ground. That way you'll always stay humble, and that's kind of important to me because I don't want to lose touch with my base. Thank you guys for watching till here. I appreciate each and every one of you and your feedbacks and your messages that you've been pouring in. I hope there is a takeaway for every one of you from my learning experiences and the mistakes that I have made. And I've been planning to do a financial breakdown because there were a lot of ups and downs, and I did not know where my money went in this shift. So I was really reading about the psychology of money. So probably the next video will be on my financial planning, or more like mistakes that I made in the process of shifting to this apartment, and the takeaways that were for me from this book. So stay tuned. See ya. I'm moving out of this place. I don't know where, but I'm moving.
If
mess over here, but we made it. This is the most satisfying bit of this whole process.